I've held this back for years, but tonight I'm breaking the silence. My entire childhood revolved around one unspoken rule: never step into the barn after dark. Once curiosity got the best of me, everything I thought I knew about my family, about reality, shifted forever. I'm Alex Carter, born and raised on my parents' rural land in Boone County, Missouri. That barn at the far end of our property, the weathered oak siding patched with boards, the rusted sliding door, and the loft, everything was off limits. After dark, my grandparents farmed this land in the 1950s, built everything themselves. My sister Emma and I grew up among the hay bales and tractors, our footsteps echoing in endless fields. But there was always one place we never went after sunset, ever. No question, no discussion. I remember turning 12 and staring at that barn at twilight, feeling my heart pound. The rule was enforced silently, a tense look between my parents, a pause in conversation, my mom calling me in for chores early, my dad locking the door from outside. Curiosity gnawed, but no one ever explained why. I caught whispers at the dinner table. Just respect it. Dean, the old hired hand, muttering about something. Bound in there, when I turned 18, I moved to Kansas City for college. I forgot about it, forgot the dread, the uneasy feeling, that is, until last summer, my family reached out. Grandma had passed, and my dad wanted me home to sort through her things. I drove in August heat, fields gold and brown, the same dusk sky that hid our barn as a kid. My sister and I found old photo albums. Among them, a Polaroid dated 1973. Grandma was 25, standing in the open barn door, but the barn was dark inside. She wore a forced smile, as if something behind her unnerved her, something we never saw. Sunday afternoon, my dad and I repaired a broken fence. The sun faded, and without thinking, I wandered toward the barn. The ground hummed underfoot. My flashlight cut through dusk. While flickering, I heard whispering. I froze. My dad must have seen me, because he called my name from behind. I jumped, stumbled away. He followed the light, guided me home. No questions, just a stern look. If you're still listening, I know exactly how insane it sounds. But this wasn't made up. It's my life. Hit subscribe if you've ever felt something lurking where you shouldn't be. Because what comes next, it's much darker than a midnight whisper. That night, sleep didn't come. At 2:22 a.m., my phone buzzed. A Polaroid photo. Knew the barn door behind Grandma was open, and in the shadows, a figure blurred in the doorway. My sister's handwriting on the back, "Don't go in." I confronted her the next afternoon. She swore she didn't send it. She hadn't been near the barn. And the photo, it wasn't in our private album. It was new. I decided to go in. I had to see Dot around midnight, flashlight in hand. I walked across dew-soaked grass. The barn door creaked open. Inside, hay hung thick in the beam. The loft ladder, I climbed. My breaths were loud in the gloom. At the top, I found something terribly wrong. The loft was scored with deep gouges, long vertical wounds carved into wood. My heart froze. I swore I heard something shifting behind the planks. I turned the flashlight downward. Just below me, hanging from a beam, my grandmother's patchwork quilt, tatted, faded, swung gently. Below that, the Polaroid of Grandma, now in color, not black and white, her smile twisted, eyes hollow. Behind her, a dark shape I couldn't clearly see. The barn door slammed shut. I dropped the light. Everything black. Footsteps on the loft floor, slow, deliberate, coming toward me. I felt breath on my neck. Then the whisper, right in my ear. "Why didn't you listen?" I bolted, slid down the ladder, burst through the doors, screamed. My father ran out, eyes wild. We never spoke of that night again. The barn door stayed locked. Outside still locks it from the other side. I left 2 days later, came back for Christmas. Dad tried to change the rule, called it outdated. I never went near it, not even at dusk. My sister joked later in May that I didn't even blink when Dad asked if I'd help him clean inside. I just said no, I told her. She nodded quietly. There's a tape recorder buried under the loft floorboards. Grandma used it to record bedtime stories for us. I want to go back in and listen, but I'm terrified. What if I hear her voice differently? What if she's still there? My family still lives there. The barn still stands. And I still can't shake the feeling. I left something inside, something that followed me back into daylight. I wish I could say that night was the end, but every time I start to forget, I dream of splintered wood and that voice. Subscribe to WhisperMorrow, and maybe next time I'll tell you what happened when I finally listened.